They were 30th nationally in scoring defense. Brianna Turnage set to jump center with Olivia Hutcherson for Princeton. Tap controlled by the Yellow Jackets, and we are underway. Erica Moon, one of those 8 transfers for Karen Blair, native of Atlanta, began at Texas A&M, initiates the offense. Off the curl, it's Noguero. Sets up Walker. Turnage now, posting on Tall. Shot clock at 8, Moon has to reload. Moon had a career-high 6 assists in the win over Radford. Shot clock at 3. Termes, the swing, the heave, and it's banked in by Noguero. Just like I'm sure Karen Blair drew it up.
But I love it. You know, Noguero is that steady player for Georgia Tech. She just let it fly, got lucky, and got that glass.
Well, there's something to be said for shot clock awareness. Noguero had 7 of her 9 points in the first quarter on Thursdays. We take a look at Princeton starting 5. Fadima Tall, second-team All-Ivy. Sky Becker, second-team All-Ivy as well. And this is Becker, has her pass deflected out by Noguero, 6 to shoot. Ines Noguero, the senior from Gijón, Spain.
And you said it, that shot clock awareness, she just lets it fly, knows that she has to get it off, gets it off in time, and gets the bucket.
Mid-range by Belker is short. Rebound to Turnage. Georgia Tech looking to run. Moon slicing all the way in with the left hand. Doesn't fall, but is back tapped out to Noguero. Georgia Tech to reset. Walker splitting 2, misses the layup, and is boarded by St. Rose.
But that's something we see Georgia Tech doing early, is being aggressive, attacking that rim. They can't finish or haven't finished early in this one, but those opportunities and looks are there.
So look at Georgia Tech's starting 5 as that one is stroked in by Olivia Hutcherson. She brought her cheering section with her today, the native of Johns Creek, Georgia. Turnage driving in addition to Noguero. Able to fight her way into the paint, bounces to a cutting Walker. She has that dribble off her knee, out of bounds, a Princeton turnover.
And that was good defense by Princeton. They're trying to clog that lane, making it difficult for Georgia Tech to find passing lanes. And you saw in that last possession, Georgia Tech with the turnover.
The lone starter that does not return for Princeton was their 6'4" center, Parker Hill. Honorable mention, All-Ivy, so they do lose a little bit of size from last year, but very athletic, very seasoned. Pass was jumped and stolen by Noguero. She has Turnage filling the lane. We'll go with the Euro step and the backhand layup for Noguero.
And I love it. I mean, the awareness by Noguero early. We know what type of defensive presence she has. She was able to read the lanes and fill that gap, get the steal and the lay-in.
Very instinctive defender, out ball hawking on Belker. All 5 at Georgia Tech's points, 2.5 minutes in. Was poked out of the hands of Tall, raced down in forecourt by Moon, and they'll call an over-the-back violation, ball to Tech.
And Moon's like, I got that ball. I wanted to finish that fast break. But you see right here, Noguero reads the passing lane, gets the steal, and then is savvy with a nice reverse lay-in. Little Euro step there, too, and gets the bucket.
And for the native of Spain, this with a foot on the line. She strokes the long 2, making 7 points for Ines Noguero.
I'm telling you, this is familiar territory for Noguero, what we saw against Radford, getting some points in early, 7 already in this one.
Only 3 returning players for Karen Blair in their inaugural roster at Georgia Tech, but Noguero, a veteran of 59 starts across their first 3 seasons. Georgia Tech looking to put the pedal down again. Moon trying to find Walker filling the lane. Pass was not on target, another turnover.
And Moon tried to get that ball to Walker, but threw it a little too late, landed on Walker's foot out of bounds. But you see Georgia Tech still trying to push the tempo and run to get some easy buckets in transition.
That is a mandate from Karen Blair, 7th head coach in Georgia Tech women's basketball history. As Tall clutches on Turnage, runs her into his screen, draws Termes on the switch. Here's Chia trying to shrug off Moon. A pick and pop 3. That's short from Tall. Rebound corralled, though, by the Tigers. Chia with another 3. The board by Noguero. Athlete Chia, though, you can't give her too many cracks from beyond the arc balance. She was 2nd in the Ivy League in 3-point percentage, was 3rd in 3-pointers made. Turnage grinding away, shovels to Noguero, but she caught it with a foot on the baseline. Yeah. Already a 3rd Georgia Tech turnover.
And something I'm sure Coach Blair doesn't want to see early in this one, but Georgia Tech still trying to find a rhythm with their offense. And I think when you see the ball getting to Snoop down low, she has to be more aggressive on that block. Put it up and let it fly.
One thing that stood out in the box score for Georgia Tech against Radford, they had 24 assists, 28 made field goals, so very unselfish moving the basketball as that skip is overcooked by Chia into the Tech bench. A bit of a shaky start for Carter Berube Tigers as Georgia Tech holds the 7-2 lead.
Yeah, and this is their first game, so they're still trying to get the jitters out, get into a rhythm. Like you said, you know, you've been practicing all offseason, trying to get into your offensive sets, and knowing that this Princeton team is experienced, they still got some jitters early in this one.
And Princeton had just a nightmarish travel day to get from New Jersey down to Atlanta, which we'll tell you about a little later on. Turnage posting. Needs to unload, tries to thread the needle to Noguero, and she gets called for a travel. Well, good job by Princeton to really clog the half court and force a fourth turnover already on the Yellow Jackets. Noguero comes out. Savannah Samuel, the transfer from BC, takes her spot.
No, and that's exactly what Princeton's been doing, clogging that lane, making it very difficult for Georgia Tech to get those passing lanes or those passes within the paint as their players are cutting.
Yeah, Princeton, as you know, Fallon, mid-major in name only as you look at some of their casualties last year in non-conference play as they get on the board with that reverse layup. They knocked off DePaul, Villanova, Seton Hall, Rutgers, Temple. 3 of those wins were on the road. Samuel off the turnage screen. And it's poked out of bounds, stays with Georgia Tech.
But early in this one, Princeton is definitely in attack mode defensively, but this pass to Hutcherson, she reads it well, slips, gets the pass and the lay-in with a nice cut. And Hutcherson, I like what I'm seeing from her early on. She's finding her spots and able to knock down shots.
Samuel no good, offensive rebound, and back up and in by Walker.
You see Snoop ducking, like, please don't hit me in the head with that one, but nice putback by Walker.
Talia Walker, team high 16 points, also had 7 rebounds against Radford. The sophomore from Odenton, Maryland, played her freshman year at Princeton. The catch-and-shoot 3 is an air ball, rebound to Termes. All 4 of the Tigers' points from Olivia Hutcherson. 7 of Georgia Tech's 9 by Ines Noguero, midway through our first quarter. Moon 6 points, 6 assists, 3-pointer, Termes in and out. Back tap by Turnage, but call her for the loose ball foul. So Turnage is first, teams first, as that takes us to our first timeout. Georgia Tech, a 9-4 lead over Princeton. Tigers looking to bag another big non-conference win on the road in their season opener.
And it's just trying to get a rhythm and get some scoring within their offensive sets.
You know, college kids can function on little sleep.
Right.
Not us olds. They certainly can.
Yeah, I need my 7.
Yeah. Madison St. Rose runs the point. And Drysdale Award preseason watched this as well for the National Player of the Year. Only had 4 games last year. Almost had it poked away by Walker. Achieved by Chia. She's marooned. Off to St. Rose. Penetrates on Termes. Goes up strong and lays it in. Welcome back, Madison St. Rose, the senior from Old Bridge, New Jersey.
And that was big time. You know, she was decided to take it baseline after she was having trouble dribbling the ball and gets the bucket.
Second team All-Ivy 2 seasons ago, former Ivy League Rookie of the Year. That's the Georgia Tech lead to 3 as Walker splits 2 and lays it home.
And that's a big time play by Walker. We said it, you know, she can get to the rim at will, and it's just about finishing, and she finished on that last play.
Karen Blair describes Talia Walker as a true power guard. Really reshaped her body in the offseason, already paying dividends. St. Rose peels off the screen. Here's the sophomore Emily Edie, down to Hutcherson. The dunk in on Termes, got rejected by Ariadne Termes. 6'6", using every inch.
Yeah, that was a good move by Hutcherson, just better defense by Termes. She gets the block.
Termes also a very skilled facilitator at 6'6", sets up Walker. Almost throws it away. Flag down by Moon. Shot clock at 14. Erica Moon tied a career high with 6 points, in addition to his 6-assist night versus Radford. Racks up the Termes screen. Works her way in. Double clutch. No, but a foul. And you could tell the mandate for all these Georgia Tech guards is to play downhill. They're reaping the benefits.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do, especially when you're trying to learn a new offensive system like Georgia Tech is doing. You just go downhill to make something happen. And you see Hutcherson trying to make something happen for her team. And Termes is like not on her watch with the clean block. And then Moon on the other end takes it hard to the basket and gets the foul.
And draws the foul on Emily Edie. Moon, a 67% foul shooter last year. Redshirt sophomore from Atlanta, actually played for a state title as a freshman in Georgia against the Tigers' Olivia Hutcherson.
Yeah, those 2 schools, you know, Moon went to St. Francis, Hutcherson went to Holy Innocents, 2 prime private schools in Georgia.
And Now reacquainting themselves with each other here in game number 2 for Georgia Tech. Toby Nweke on the handle. Hutcherson lines it up, can't knock it down. Scrapped away by Edie. Brought it low, got tied up by Noguero and Jada Crawshaw. The arrow keeps it with Princeton. See Jada Crawshaw in for the first time, the 6-foot junior from Darwin, Australia, transfer from Long Beach State. Crawshaw, 9 points, made all 4 of her field goals against Radford as Fadima re-enters for the Tigers. Chia will get a breather as well. Belker back in and she inbounds. The inbound was kneed out by Samuel.
And I think Samuel almost got hit in the face with that when she's looking back, but that was good anticipation to knock that basketball out of bounds.
Another one of those Georgia Tech transfers making a homecoming, originally from Woodstock. Began her career at West Virginia, then a year at BC last year. Belker almost lost it. Tries to detach herself from Samuel, trying to thread the needle on the pick and roll. It was deflected and scrapped away by Moon.
And right now, GT's hands are just everywhere. Look at Moon.
Moon slithering and scoring coast to coast.
And that's what Coach Blair talked about. She said she makes the right decisions as a point guard, why she gave her the starting position to start the season, and that was a good heads-up play to take it herself and finish at the rim.
Well, Georgia Tech playing with a gear that Princeton so far has not found. They're up by 9. Stays 9 off the misfire on the pull-up by Belker. Grabs her own, though, and draws the foul. Good hustle on the follow by Belker to keep it on Princeton's end.
That was. No one boxed her out, and she saw it, found the opening, and was able to get that rebound. But look at the hands for Georgia Tech. They are everywhere. Moon corrals the basketball, takes it coast to coast. No one can stop her, and she finishes at the rim.
Georgia Tech had 14 fast break points against Radford as Moon catches a breather. That foul was on Noguero. For the first time, we see Kat Alben, who might be the fastest of them all for Georgia Tech, the Charleston Southern transfer.
Yeah, she had a big play against Radford, and I'm sure we might show a little later in this one, but she has that foot speed to get to the rim as well.
Now ball hawk and Chia to inbound. 2:20 first quarter, Georgia Tech up by 9. Tall, back to the basket. Just bullies over her defender and lays it in.
Yeah, that was some bully ball by Tall, and it was a nice move, nice drop step, and she's able to finish, giving Princeton some post play in this one.
6'1" junior from Silver Spring, Maryland. Second team All-of-Ivy a year ago. The catch and shoot by Samuels off the mark. Swooping in goes DeAsia Thomas-Harris, but got her stick back stuffed by Taylor Charles. Another effort, no good by Thomas-Harris.
And that's what Thomas-Harris has to do. She has to finish a good start to the season against Radford, but she was 8 of 10 from the free throw line. Didn't shoot a good field goal percentage in that one.
It still wasn't an efficient night because of those free throws. Charles, who had that block, bellied up by Noguero, almost throws it away. Instead, it's a foul on Alben.
And Alben has to be careful with that anticipation. You can't come and get those easy fouls or when you get into the game. That one on Chia, picking up her first.
You know that she wants to say crowded on Chia. It's her first, team's third. She is second on the Tigers, 12.6 points per game last year. Led the Tigers 3.5 assists per game. Drops it off for Belker. The rip through on Samuel. And she finishes. No, wave it off. Offensive foul.
And that's big time. Look who it is again. Noguero in the right place at the right time. And, you know, we talk about her offense is getting going in this one early in the season, but her defense speaks volumes.
Well, she had both feet inside the restricted area. So Ines Noguero forcing it not to pick up a second foul because that was a textbook block. Thomas-Harris hands off Alben, but it's an illegal screen. Thomas-Harris never came set.
Yeah, she didn't. And gets called for a foul, trying to free up Alben on that screen. But Georgia Tech still trying to find the rhythm in their offensive set. So far in this one, it's been a lot of layups, but a lot of transition points.
They want to use that team speed to their advantage. Princeton, meanwhile, 4 of 12. They miss all 4 of their three-pointers. It's Belker off the Iverson cut. Comes high, whips it to Charles. Charles with a nice pump fake. Tall, oh, a step back three. Can't knock that down. Great box out by Noguero. Final minute of our opening quarter. Entry pass was thrown away. Charles front of the post. She's now got a block and a steal.
Yeah, it was good defense.
Chia lines it up, air balls the three. You can see trying to find her shot there. That is a rare sight for Ashley Chia, given how accurate she normally is.
Yeah, it's been difficult for Chia to get going in this opening quarter, but still a lot of game.
Trying to keep nimble feet in front of Kat Alben. Loads up a screen from Thomas Harris. 7 seconds to go. Puts her shoulder down. Forces it up off the top of the backboard. 3 seconds to go. Here's Belker with the heave from midcourt. Oh, boy, there might have been a case for a foul. But Noguero beats the allegations, and Georgia Tech takes a 15-8 lead through 1 quarter. Ooh, coach, but Karen Blair quickly identified speed as a strength and an equalizer as Alben walked for the cross and gets the second quarter underway. Tech was 6 of 14 from the field, Fallon, in that opening quarter. Princeton also wrung out 6 turnovers and make it a 7th on a 3-second violation.
And that's one on Georgia Tech. We talked about that last game. We saw a few between Georgia Tech and Radford. You can't camp out in that lane. You got to get out of there, but that's good defense by Princeton to create or cause another turnover.
Yeah, the paint is not an art exhibit. You can't just sit there and admire the view. Belker runs the point. Second team All-Ivy a season ago. Really elevated her scoring down the stretch for the Tigers. And we're out to that NCAA at-large appearance. They bowed out in the first 4 to Iowa State. Tigers 0 of 7 from 3 so far, make it 0 of 8. Offensive rebound to Hutcherson, had a poke loose. Recovered. Belker shaking on Noguero, hand in her face. She can't answer. The rebound tugged down by Turnage, who had those career-high 11 boards on Thursday.
Yeah, she can do it, and we're seeing it right now. Can bring the ball up court, can handle it. She's a point forward that Coach Blair classifies her as and getting this offense started for Georgia Tech.
90 career games played across 3 seasons at Florida State. The steal by Chia, open floor, and the lay-in by Ashley Chia.
And maybe that could get her going. I mean, you see the same stoic demeanor, whether she's turning it over or she's getting a steal, and she gets the lay-in after that steal on that last possession.
Her season low in points last year found was in the Tigers season opener, just 3 versus Duquesne, albeit with also 5 assists. Thomas Harris fell in the lane, blocking foul to call, and she'll shoot 2.
That's a good cut to the basket by Thomas Harris. I mean, Princeton did not like that call. They thought that their player was in position on this cut, and it was a last-ditch effort, but Chia reads that passing lane on that pass right there, gets the lay-in after getting the steal, and hopefully that can get her going. And it was a nice cut by Thomas Harris. Yeah, just a little late by Belker. I think the ref got the right call on that one.
And she'll get the end one as well. That foul is also the second on Sky Belker, who led the Tigers last year, averaging 13 points per game. And we're going to have an officials timeout to review this. 8:43 to go in the second quarter.
Previous plays under review to see if the ball went in. The ball went in. Georgia Tech will receive 2 points and 1 free throw.
Play for Deasia Thomas Harris. Charlotte Berube not a fan of that charge card, that block foul rather, on Sky Belker because it's her second.
Right, and I think after reviewing that a second time, I'm going to change my mind. Belker looked like she was in position and right on time, and Thomas Harris a little out of control, but gets the benefit of the doubt with the call.
And the free throw rattles home by Thomas Harris. And 8 free throws and 10 attempts in their opener, and Georgia Tech up by 8 as Moon subs in for Thomas Harris.
You see Coach Blair with a little smile on her face. Let's get Thomas Harris out of here before she picks up a foul.
Get out of town before they change their mind. Little token pressure in backcourt spreads the floor out for the Tigers, who are 0 for their first 8 from 3, a team that was first in the Ivy last year in three-point percentage. Tall trying to turn the corner. Sprays it out. A step inside the line. It's Hutcherson. No good. Another rebound by Turnage. Well, there have been some clean looks. They just haven't been dropping for Princeton.
And that was another good look by Hutcherson. I mean, she's already hit 2 shots, but couldn't get that last one to fall.
Alben, backdoor, stolen away. St. Rose with the theft. Madison St. Rose, second team All-Ivy 2 years ago. Knee injury she suffered against Quinnipiac on November the 16th of last season. Cost her the remainder of an NCAA tournament year. Offensive rebound in the stick back by Huntress. And look at the Georgia native swooping in for points 5 and 6.
And that's big time. I mean, skies to get that rebound. Woo!
But you got to get back as Catherine Alben can beat everybody down floor. She strokes the 3, and Tech is up by 8. They'll call it a long 2. Gia now with the drive and dish. Pass is tipped out by Turnage.
And that was a good job by Walker, you know, playing the scouting report. Hutchinson didn't want to shoot that baseline jump on that last possession, but this one right here with this putback, she was nasty on and cleaned that one up nicely for Princeton. And you see Alben on the other end with the clean J stroke, a little inside the three-point line, but the 2 points count too.
Yep. Cat Alben will be a fun one to watch. First team All-Big South last season at Charleston Southern. Average team high 16.6 for the Buccaneers, 18 career 20-point games. Shot clock today. Tall to stare down with Turnage. Takes it in deep on Walker, banks it and scores, and a foul. Good muscular finish with the shot clock winding down by Fadima. Tall until of a chance to cut into this deficit at the line.
And we've seen it earlier. She had a big-time play in the paint, but it's just aggressive, realizes that she has the undersized Walker on her and just takes it hard and is able to finish and get the and one. Good finish, good body control. Now she's at the free throw line for the extra point.
Off the first foul against Talea Walker, Tall last year. 4th in the Ivy, 79% from the free throw line. Connects there. And she had a team-high 19.7 rebounds in the Tigers' NCAA tournament game versus Iowa State, doing that against Audie Crooks.
That's impressive.
Here's Walker in the high post. She is maroon, puts it on the floor, trying to attack her way in, and there's a charge. Tigers get that call as St. Rose planted her feet. And that's quickly a second foul on Talea Walker. Georgia Tech's leading scorer in their season opener.
And now you're starting to see Princeton is waking up. They've always been playing solid defense in this game, but they're starting to get it going offensively, knocking down some shots and cutting into Georgia Tech's lead, only down by 5.
Turnage with a swipe in backcourt. Samuel had it pickpocketed right back by Tall. Look at Tall lead the break. Teams trading turnovers. Georgia Tech already double digits. That's their 10th giveaway. Help to keep Princeton within range. Tall for 3. No good. Offensive rebound to Hunterson, and she sticks it up. No. Now, Hunterson's been active so far. You can tell, long flight delay or not, she was fired up to be playing in her neck of the woods.
Right.
Samuel drives and dishes. Noguero, the sidestep, the pull-up, misses everything. Tall boards.
You see Georgia Tech having some difficulty on the offensive end. Let's see if they can get back on defense.
Stayed connected so far. Chia looking for an entry. Will pull up instead, rim it down. And that deficit down to 3 for the Tigers. Ashley Chia is on the board.
And you're seeing different energy from Princeton. They're getting it going. Once you see that ball go into the hoop, it can change your whole demeanor. And you just get hungrier on the defensive end.
This is a team that is accustomed to success. You know the Tigers wouldn't get rattled by a slow start. The handoff to Noguero, trying to play the two-man game with Turnage. Give and go. Noguero tried to thread that in from Termes. It's a steal. Oh, but stolen right back. Termes for 3. No. And Tall parachutes in for the Tigers rebound.
Yeah, and I think right now Georgia Tech is just anticipating the cuts, thinking they have to make that pass instead of holding the basketball and looking for the second option.
Here's a 3 to tie, and it's down the well. Grace O'Sullivan, one of the freshmen for the Tigers, and it forces a Princeton timeout, rather a Georgia Tech timeout. An 8-0 Tigers run over the last 2:10, and they have found their offense in a hurry here in the second quarter.
They certainly have, and we've seen what Princeton can do. They're waking up in this game. Started out a little slow. Chia with the nice jump shot right there to finish it off. But you see this pass in the corner. Big time shot by O'Sullivan. She ties it up.
Only Princeton, but Columbia and Harvard Now, Georgia Tech's offense has really been slowed down in the second quarter. They have more turnovers this quarter, Fallon, than field goal attempts. What can they do to find better offense? Maybe Moon back out at point will help.
Yeah, and it's really just trying to have that steady pace. But, ooh, shooting the gap, Hutcherson.
Hutcherson striding in on turnage, and the Tigers take their first lead, and Hutcherson has a chance for an and one.
And that was a bad decision by Snoop right there, getting too close, not giving Hutcherson the opportunity to land on that layup. Great anticipation by Hutcherson. She gets the steal and the and one, and that's big time. You see Chia is loving it. That's the most energy I think I've seen her have all game long. I guess she's waking up.
Olivia Hutcherson, junior from Johns Creek, Georgia, passed by her before the game. I said, you probably got half of Johns Creek here, don't you? She said, oh, I've got all of Johns Creek here. 23 starts last year for Coach Berube. Her career high was 10 points. She did that twice, both versus Harvard. She's working on 8 points. Give her 9. And the lead up to 3 as the run continues for Princeton.
And I love it. Hutcherson's bringing that energy. She's been that steady pace for Princeton as they've been trying to, you know, come through these muddy waters and figure out what they needed to do offensively.
Alben nearly had it poked away. It last deflects off of the Tigers. Weke almost shook that ball free from Alben.
And you just see right now, Princeton has the active hands defensively. They are all over the place, making it difficult for Georgia Tech to get anything in the paint.
And in the Tigers' defense, in spite of that 9-point deficit they had in the first quarter, their defense was still good enough to withstand some lulls offensively. Moon off the mark from 3. Rebound tipped away, controlled by Alben. Trying to take it in deep. Rifled around to Crawshaw. Back to Alben for a 3. Yes. Enters right back. We're back on level terms.
I love it. Alben was able to drive and then reset, goes into that corner, receives the pass back, and knocks down a big 3 for Georgia Tech.
Yeah, she can be a walking bucket. Another 3. That's no good from St. Rose. Hutcherson claims the rebound. Noguero pulls it back. Chia thinking she has the mismatch, will drain one down over Crawshaw, no good.
Looks like play. Looks like Hutcherson got hit in the face.
Like hit in the nose or in the eyes, but the entry pass was thrown away, and now time called. I think that was maybe against the better judgment of the Princeton bench, because Hutcherson, even though she's clearly, she's got bleeding. A bloody nose, yeah. He was thinking off that steal from Chia. She could have cherry-picked her way to a basket, but boy, yeah. Down to the crimson mask right now.
Yeah, it messes up that fast break. That's a key player for Princeton, and it looks like it was unintentional. When Termis gets that rebound and swings to maintain the ball, when Hutcherson was trying to get her hand in, she inadvertently hits her in the nose or in the face with her hand.
That was her left fist, just inadvertently. Oh boy, Olivia Hutcherson took a left hook from Ariadne Termis inadvertently, like you said.
Yeah. And that's tough. Hopefully everything's okay and she can get back in this one, because Princeton needs her energy and play this afternoon.
You know, she has devoted her sweat and her tears to this Princeton program, but you got to prove she's expended her blood as well.
That's all of it. And like we said, she has a lot of family here watching her at the game this afternoon, and that's just tough. But hopefully they can stop the bleeding with their nose, get her back in there.
Georgia Tech had to stop the bleeding as they were on the business end of an 11-0 Princeton run. That Alben 3 ties us back at 23. Obviously reviewing that last sequence to see if there was anything that should be upgraded to a flagrant on Ariadne Termis. From our vantage point, didn't seem like it was anything but incidental contact, but our opinions aren't the ones that matter.
Right.
One more note about Olivia Hutcherson. Her dad, Kenneth, played hoops at both Sanford and Alabama, works in the district attorney's office here in Fulton County, and you actually, as a public defender yourself, Fallon Stokes, crossed paths once upon a time.
Yes, I did.
In the halls of justice with Kenneth Hutcherson.
I did, and he's been there a long time in a supervisor role with the district attorney currently, Fonnie Willis, who is the district attorney. But, you know, it's incredible, especially when you see your colleagues and their kids playing on the collegiate level, and then at a prestigious institution like Princeton, getting a great education, but getting to play some great hoops as well.
Kenneth might try to litigate here at the scores table to get that call upgraded to a flagrant.
Right. He's like, let me get the pad out and get ready for this one and see what the call is.
We're continuing to take a look at that last play that resulted in the bloody nose from Hutcherson, who not only leads the Tigers with 9 points, a team-high 4 rebounds as well. And Georgia Tech ball security has been an issue, and one of the reasons they've allowed the Tigers to get back in this.
Is not taking care of the basketball, and you can't do that. You know, that's a point of emphasis for Coach Blair, especially when they want to get out and run. But most of their turnovers have been in the half-court sets, and it's just making inadvertent passes to players that are just not open on those cuts, thinking it's there because that's how the offense is run. Sometimes you just have to hold it, look for that next option, and just let your offense run. And I know that is something she is going to stress at halftime. They're still talking about it. They're in deep thought.
Georgia Tech, by the way, on a 13-game non-conference home win streak. The win versus Radford, their 13th straight home opening victory. And this, the 5th all-time meeting between Tech and Princeton. They last dueled in 2017. This is a long conversation about what the crew saw and whether it was a reckless enough act on the part of Ariadne Termes to warrant a flagrant foul.
Sure. And I think sometimes coming down with that rebound, that's why you tell your post players to try and keep that ball high if they can, so they don't allow guards to swat at the basketball when they get a rebound like Termes did. But I just think her movement and trying to pivot out of that situation or a tie-up, it was just an inadvertent hit. And she's confused by it. I think they're going with a different call.
Let's take a listen.
The results of the review, or there will be a flagrant one foul charge to White 20. Princeton will shoot 2 free throws and receive the ball at the division line.
All right, so it is a flagrant one on Termes. And St. Rose will shoot the technical free throws, and Princeton, they were going to get the ball regardless of the turnover. But we'll take one last look there from this angle at the collision between Termes. It was, I think, her fist more than her elbow.
It wasn't her elbows. I mean, they never extended in a direction. It was the hand, but, you know, I think just like it's early for these teams, it's also early for these refs to get going, to get these calls in.
St. Rose good on both free throws in her 4 games last year before her season-ending knee injury. She was 19 of 20 at the foul line. Good to see the cut man for the Tigers hard at work during that replay review. And stop the bleeding on Hutcherson, though she comes out. Princeton to retain and back up by 2.
Right, and it looks like hopefully she'll be back in this one, sitting on the bench currently.
A homecoming game for Hutcherson, anything short of an amputation. She'll find a way back on the court. Shot clock winding down. Charles has to heave, can't hit. Rebound Alben. She can be a one-woman fast break. Chia walls up in transition. Alben too fast for her own feet, and she coughs it up.
Yeah, I like it, but she has to slow down a little bit. Going so fast and trying to break speed, but Princeton did have 3 players back, so that was going to be a difficult move.
Somebody threw the turtle shell at her on that fast break. St. Rose, the fall away, short, boarded by Noguero. St. Rose averaged 17 points before her season-ending injury. Prior to that, 14.8 as a sophomore. Crawshaw fakes the handoff, turns the corner, flips it in.
That was a big-time move.
Jada Crawshaw, the transfer from Long Beach State, was a perfect 4 of 4 from the floor in her Georgia Tech debut Thursday. Ties us at 25. She processes the pick and roll. Dishes to Charles. Pass out top was deflected, recovered by St. Rose.
Yeah, I'm going to love to see how many deflections Noguero has in this first half.
St. Rose baseline, no. Crawshaw elevates for the rebound and a reach in on St. Rose.
And look who's coming back in.
That's Hutcherson coming in. We'll take another look. And this nice play off the fake DHO by Crawshaw and got the blow by on Charles.
With the right hand, and, you know, she is a capable ball handler for Georgia Tech as well. Gives them some size and some depth at that 3-4 position. But she comes in, gives a nice fake, knows it's not there, and decides just to take it to the basket herself.
Had a pair of 20-point games last year for Long Beach State. Moon got the step, can't get the lay-in. And she hits the deck hard, clutching her knee. Meanwhile, a 2-on-2, Chia to a trailing Belker. Belker threads the needle. Out it comes Chia for 3. It's good. And we have time called as Erica Moon is staying down here. And that is not a good sight for the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, that wasn't. And as soon as she hit the ground, she was clutching that knee in a lot of pain. And let's just hope she's okay.
28-25, Tigers retake the lead, but now the concern is for the redshirt sophomore Erica Moon. And athletic trainer for Georgia Tech women's basketball, Rachel Matthews, checking her out. You hate this for her after she was looking to come back home to Atlanta out of the transfer portal and kind of show what made her such a sought-after prospect out of high school. 6 points, 6 assists in their opener, and so far Moon 4 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and you see putting no weight, unfortunately, on that left leg.
Yeah, that's not a good sign, but hopefully everything's okay. And you know, Georgia Tech's gonna have to regroup. It's on Alben. That's why you have 2 point guards, one that can fill in.
Take another look. And again, it was her clutching her left, not the right.
See on this
kind of on
angle.
the gather right there.
And I can't tell if it was going up, if she buckled when she landed, or if she got hit on the way up.
Another way, she'll be in good hands inside that Georgia Tech locker room. Yellow Jackets trying to persevere without her. Alben will run the point. Noguero also has ball handling chops. Alben tried to slither her way in, and she draws the foul.
And that was a good reverse move by Alben, trying to get to the bucket and draws the foul. Coach Berube was looking for the travel, but instead, Alben going to the free throw line for 2 shots.
Catherine Alben has 5 points. 80% at the line last year for Charleston Southern. And we're still at 28-25. Alben originally from Snellville, Georgia. Really proved herself as one of the more dynamic lead guards at the mid-major level for Charleston Southern the last couple of years. Salvages the second free throw. Georgia Tech back defensively and down by 2. Approaching the final 90 seconds of our first half. Belker out there despite 2 fouls. Rotated around to Hutcherson. Chia with a hand in her face from Alben. Pass was deflected out by Crawshaw. Princeton to retain, just 6 to shoot.
Yeah, no, I would love to see the stat line or the, with the number of deflections Georgia Tech has had on the defensive end. They've done a great job of getting a hand in the passing lane, and we just saw Crawshaw with another deflection getting the ball out of bounds.
Georgia Tech out of fouls to give. Belker to inbound. Bounces in tall, got the rip through. Splits a pair, got blocked by Termes. Good closeout defense by the 6'6" Ariadne Termes. Here's Samuel. Thought about the 3. Down the shoot to Crawshaw. Feeling out the contact on Charles. Spinning, hooking,
Big
scoring.
Time shot. I love how Crawshaw, she is settled. She is not afraid to score the basketball. We saw that hook shot a few times against Radford, but she does a great job of setting herself, getting her feet set on the block, and has a nice hook shot for 2.
She's given the Yellow Jacket a spark in the second quarter. Belker catch and shoot, halfway down, no good. Crawshaw fighting for the rebound. And looks like, Hutcherson rolled over the baseline, trying to retrieve that. It's Georgia Tech ball. Well, Georgia Tech is looking at this box score as foul and saying, man, we're tied at 28, even though we've committed 16 turnovers. Princeton saying, man, we're tied, and we're 2 of 15 from 3.
Right. And that's been the difference in this game. Georgia Tech's turnovers and Princeton's lack of ability to knock down a 3-point shot early in this one.
Samuel, 6'1" grad transfer, initiates the offense. 10-second differential, shot clock, the game clock. We'll see how active Georgia Tech is, going 2 for 1. Tough finish on the pull-up by Noguero.
Big time shot for the senior.
Ines Noguero with the team high 7 points. Georgia Tech back in front, give her 9 now. Shot clock is off. And entry to Charles. Tall for three, no good. Rebound clawed away by Alben. Trying to beat everybody down floor with 2 seconds to go. The layup by Alben.
They don't call her Cat for nothing.
Cat-like quickness for Alben and right into the awaiting arms.
Show what she's capable of. I mean, she has the experience, maybe not in the ACC, but this game right here, she has an opportunity to show why she needs to step up and help her team secure a home victory.
Princeton basketball to begin the second half. Lob down in deep. St. Rose got the step in the lay-in.
And that was intentional. They gave her a touch, set her up nicely so she could get an easy lay-in, and hopefully that could get her going in the second half.
She was an amazing pull out of Old Bridge, New Jersey, St. John Vianney. She was the number 46 player nationally out of high school by ESPNW. That three is pure from Termes.
I think they marked it as a 2 on that last shot, but she has the stroke and the capability of knocking down threes. Good to see her getting it going.
Yeah, almost 51% of Ariadne Termes' career field goals entered the season have been from three. Has to be more of a back-to-the-basket post player in this system. And that pass was thrown away by Belker, turnover.
And Belker and Hutchinson just a little bit miscommunication on that pass. It goes out of bounds, but those turnovers you don't want. At least it wasn't a live ball turnover, and Georgia Tech has to set up their offense.
Belker was hamstrung by 2 first-half fouls, scoreless, and has missed all 5 of her field goal attempts. Somebody who led the Tigers last year at 13 points a game. Off the handoff, Alben short, rebound Turnage. Wriggling her way around, Hutchinson takes the hit, can't finesse that in, but does draw the foul.
Right, and that's good to see that Snoop's back in this one. They need her rebounding ability. She picked up those early 2 fouls and had to sit. But this was a nice rebound, offensive rebound. She has a little bit of that hook on Hutchinson. Can't finish, but she's going to the free throw line.
And if you're going to hook a player, make sure it's subtle, I guess. As the first free throw is heavy from Turnage. A career 50% free throw shooter. And the last 3 years in Tallahassee, product of Westlake High School in Atlanta.
Yeah,
she was high school teammates with a pair of Gamecocks
That's
now, and Raven Johnson and her former teammate at Florida State, Tania Latson.
With Coach Hankerson over there, she has some tremendous teams. They won 4 straight state titles with that squad.
Oh, with those players winning 4 straight state titles? Who would have guessed? Hutchinson drops it off to St. Rose from the foul line, trying to follow her own miss. It slapped right down to Tall, grinding on Termes. St. Rose for 3, no. Look at Tall fighting for the rebound, goes off glass, no. A couple of great opportunities on that sequence by the Tigers, but they come up empty.
Yeah, you just hope that you can capitalize. That was great hustle by Princeton. Just couldn't get it down.
It is fun to watch Fadima Tall rebound, sort of undersized, but just knows the angles. As Hutchinson tried to eclipse that shot from Walker, but the foul called instead.
Maybe this is an opportunity for Walker to get going as well. She had 2 early fouls in that first half, had to sit. So now you're seeing Coach Blair getting her players or her starters back in this rotation to see if they can get something going, especially with Moon out.
Talia Walker, 4 points, 1 rebound after 16 and 7 against Radford. Extends the Georgia Tech lead to 5. Career high as a freshman at Penn State, 18. Also had 4 assists, and she did that against Juju Watkins and Southern Cal when the Trojans were number 4 in the country. Good on to second.
Yeah, that's impressive. When we talk about the Big Ten and all that talent they have in that league, and when you're able to compete on a level like that against the Juju Watkins, you can be special.
Was the top freshman scorer for the Nittany Lions. From the baseline, no good on the roll by Hutchinson, and the rebound poked away to Noguero. Alben, bullet pass, Turnage, surrounded, almost stripped, but a foul. That'll be a quick second on Hutchinson.
Coach Berube does not like that call. She's questioning it, especially when Snoop brought that ball down. And we talked about it with post players rebounding the basketball. You got to keep it up.
It's the second foul of the quarter on Hutchinson, her 3rd of the game. She'll stay out there. Termes spins into a double team off to Noguero. Walker left alone, lets it fly, can't knock it down. St. Rose slingshot to the Chia, 4-3. Got it, and a foul. A chance for a 4-point play for Ashley Chia.
And that was a quick release by Chia. Set her feet. It was nice recognition on that baseline. She found herself and got herself open so her teammate could find her. St. Rose does, and she knocks down a big-time corner three and gets the and one. You never want to foul a jump shooter, but you see Alben just trying to fouls her on the box out, doesn't give her an opportunity to land after she takes that shot.
Chia's first three of the game, and the lead down to 2. Taylor Charles subs in for Princeton. Chia, unanimous first-team All-Ivy a season ago. His high school teammates with the great Caitlin Chan, who was just wrapped up her rookie season with the Golden State Valkyries, and then followed her across the country to Princeton, where they were teammates for a year. Backdoor feed, Noguero off the dish from Termes.
And I love it. Termes is a willing passer. She's just looking for her teammates to make the right cut. She makes the perfect decision on that play. And a nice finish by Noguero.
Well, that's like skipping a rock across a pond. Noguero, first in double digits with 11. Gives up the step to Belker, hangs, can't hit. It's up for grabs, pulled away by St. Rose. Driving on Walker with the left hand.
And that's a big-time play by St. Rose. Heads-up play, finishes with the left.
Georgia Tech lead back down to 2. Walker on the rocker step against St. Rose, drives into contact and draws the foul.
And that's smart. It's working for Georgia Tech. You know, right now, they're not settling for three-point shots, just letting it fly. They are still attacking that rim, trying to draw fouls. And so far, in this third quarter, it's been working out for Georgia Tech. They're getting to the free throw line.
Fouls the second on St. Rose, already the 4th of the quarter against Princeton. Madison St. Rose, boy, so great to see her back, just for the women's basketball in general, to say nothing of Princeton fans after she suffered that knee injury mid-November of last season. Member of the Becky Hammond Mid-Major Player of the Year watch list. So even though coming back from injury, expectations still high for what she can contribute to a Princeton team that returned 4 starters.
Right. And she can definitely contribute. We know she can score the ball. Those first 4 games she had a season ago, she was averaging around 17 before she was injured. So I'm sure that Princeton, their fan base, and Coach Berube is happy to have her back.
Charles stripped by Thomas Harris, jump ball. No, they're going to say baseline official initially give it to Georgia Tech. And I believe it was because Charles had a foot on the baseline wrestling for possession.
You can see it right here on this play. Good defense by Thomas Harris, staying with it.
Yeah, there you go. They were tied up, and you saw that right foot cross the baseline from Charles. Walker curves around the screen. Can't clear her shot. Now will spin, miss everything, turn into the offensive rebound. Tries a no-look a pass to Walker, but it was smothered by Charles. Turnover, Georgia Tech's 17th, and they're continuing to hold the door open for the Tigers. St. Rose off the skip. Tight ropes the baseline, bounces around the double team to Charles. No on the 3. A great court vision, though, by St. Rose.
It was, big time.
Alben with the stop and go. The twirl, drops it off Turnage. Turnage, no, but a foul.
Those are those easy plays Turnage has to knock down, but good court awareness by Alben to find her, put her in a position for the lay-in. She can't finish, but she's able to draw another foul. And you see right here, she splits 2 defenders, Alben does, and finds Turnage for the lay-in. Now she's at this free throw line, seeing if she can knock down 2.
After missing a pair of free throws earlier this quarter, the line drives that in. The foul was on Fadima Tall. Georgia Tech already in the bonus. It's Tall's first. Brianna Turnage goes by Snoop. And we'll have to settle for 1. Georgia Tech's lead 4. That was Turnage's first point of the game. Alben shoots the gap, steals it from Chia, and draws the foul on Chia.
Chia trying to stay with it. Even though she commits the foul, she did stop a layup because it looked like Alben with that speed was headed straight to the rim.
You can have no such thing as a casual pass when Kat Alben is lurking.
No, that was too casual. It was. She read it a mile away, was able to steal it. I think that was good recognition by Chia to commit the foul.
First team all Big South the season to go. Also had 42 steals for the Buccaneers. Almost 1,200 career points across 60 starts. Played her high school ball up the road at Grayson High. And we'll see how her game scales up to the ACC level as she strokes the first free throw in to give Georgia Tech the 5-point lead. Alben has 9.
And we know she is a capable scorer. You know, now with this new role of her having to play the point, finding ways to still find her offense within Coach Blair's offensive sets, but setting up her teammates as well.
Yeah, she was not a conventional point guard in her system at Charleston Southern, but has embraced that role now for Karen Blair. Approaching the midway mark of quarter 3. Princeton 3 of 9 from the field in this third quarter. The backdoor feed to Hutcherson, and now Olivia Hutcherson, a new career high, 11 points.
And that was big time. That baseline was wide open, and I didn't know if Princeton was going to try and penetrate, but it was a great cut by Hutcherson to get the lay-in.
A backdoor feed, this time from Tech. Turnage finding Walker. Boy, is there a draft here? Because the back door is wide open right now at McCamish.
I guess we're just switching baskets on that back door.
Belker on the dribble drive. Can't underhand that through. Sky Belker still looking for her first points of the game as the Tigers race back to build a wall on Alben.
It was a good job by Princeton to get back.
Turnage shoveling to a cutting Noguero off to Thomas Harris. Can't find a touch. Tech was up by 9. Princeton was up by 3 in that second quarter. Nice 6-point Georgia Tech lead. Chia left alone for 3. Usually that is automatic. Rebound Turnage.
And that's probably the most open she's been all afternoon long, and Chia cannot knock down the 3 at the top of the key.
You still hold your breath, though.
You do,
when
because she has
Chia
that
hasn't
stroke.
looked like that. Second in the Ivy League in 3-point percentage a year ago. Led the Tigers in 3 as she gets the steal. Tried to take the up-court pass, but it's thrown away. Oh, and the Tigers cough up a potential fast break opportunity as we've hit timeout. Maybe some first game sloppiness from Carla Berrubi's Tigers. And as a result, Georgia Tech still up by 6 in our third from Atlanta. Bridled confidence and an unburdened conscience from the 5'7" senior from Snellville, Georgia. 10 points, 3 rebounds in her first season at Georgia Tech, following 3 successful seasons at Charleston Southern, helping give Georgia Tech a 6-point lead after they coughed up a 9-point first half lead. Turnovers have gone down as well in this second half. Jackets committed 16 of them in the first half, only 2 so far in the third quarter.
And I know that is something that Coach Blair stressed at halftime, taking care of the basketball.
A little loose with the basketball there. Alben met on the catch by Chia. She wheels out and resets. Alben dribbled right into St. Rose, was poked away. Shot clock at 8. Backdoor feed. Noguero can't handle it. Into the hands of Chia. Trying to lead the break ahead to Edie. Georgia Tech hustles back. Tall. Down to Edie. Edie up off glass and in, and a foul.
And that all occurred because Thomas Harris went for that steal, and then it turned from a 5-on-5 to a 4-on-5 with Princeton having the advantage, and they are able to capitalize with the lay-in. And you see Thomas Harris goes for it, heads up play, nice dive, nice cut and finish by Edie on that pass. And she gets the and one.
A great dish by Tall, because she knew where that help side defender would come and was able to throw it down to Edie for her first basket of the game. Sinks the free throw, and the deficit's back down to a possession. Noguero, a team-high 11 points. Dribbling through traffic, turned it over. Up ahead to St. Rose. Alben in pursuit, can't get there, and it's a 1-point game.
We had just talked about the turnovers and Georgia Tech taking care of the basketball, and that was a big one right there. Tigers able to capitalize.
Well, maybe some premature praise, because the last 2 possessions have resulted in Georgia Tech turnovers. Noguero off the handoff, give and go to Thomas Harris, barreling through, and a foul called.
Was that Chia who took that hit?
She's obscured by the back stanchion. Take a minute to compose herself. They do call Chia for the foul. Her second 2 free throws in the bonus for Thomas Harris. Ashley Chia is going to be a handful once again in the Ivy League, if you couldn't already tell through these first 2+ quarters.
I mean, she has a motor and energy. She sacrifices her body. She can knock down big threes and shots for her team, and she knows how to get her team also in the offense and in their offensive sets to see if they can score buckets.
Asia Thomas Harris, 6'2" junior, Katy, Texas, was limited to 5 games last year because of a stress fracture. Only played 1 game until February 13th. Trying to make up for lost time. A 2-for-2 trip.
And we know she's a solid free throw shooter, 8 of 10 against Radford on Thursday. So she gets to the line, it's more than likely she's gonna knock them down.
And she's made all 3 of her attempts so far. As she gets a breather along with Alben. Samuel and Turnage take her spot. Princeton just 3 of 20 from 3. 3 will tie this game back up. St. Rose processes the pick and roll. Beats Tall. Chased out to the 3-point line by Termes. Off to Chia to reset. Pestered by Samuel. Trying to shake around the screen. Chia tightrope and whipping it to Noguero for 3. No. Offensive rebound. Edie got rejected by Termes, and she rips it away.
And that's what we were talking about from Termes. Playing down low, at least defensively, getting a hand up and getting a clean block, saving a basket for her team.
She's not the most ferocious shot blocker, but she does have a great sense of timing. A foul off the ball on the Tigers. And Georgia Tech set to shoot 2 more free throws. It's going to be on Toby Noguero. And Noguero will come out. Savannah Samuel to shoot the free throws for Georgia Tech. They averaged 6.3 points per contest at BC last year. Still searching for her first points tonight.
Knocks down the first, and you know, these are some critical shots for Georgia Tech. You get to the free throw line, you got to capitalize. This is a tight game.
And Georgia Tech cashing them in at the line, and the lead back to 5. Princeton led by 11 apiece from Chia and Hutcherson. For Olivia Hutcherson, it's a new career high. St. Rose thinking about the 3. Across the lane, can't roll that home. Fighting for the rebound with Walker. Walker prized it away. Georgia Tech last year also went to the NCAA tournament, 22-11. They fell in the first round to Richmond. Noguero, one of the 3 holdovers from that tournament team, sprays it out to Samuel. Drives the closeout. The foul line jumper is heavy. Gia trying to get numbers going the other way.
Look at that corner.
Oh, but she ran out of real estate. Turnover.
And that was a tough move. You saw St. Rose trying to get to that corner to receive that pass again. But instead, you got Chia stepping out of bounds, trying to make a move on that baseline.
And defended by Noguero, who's just such a heady defender. Inside of a minute, third quarter. Noguero off the back cut, sets up Termes. Spinning, banking, and scoring.
And that's
great
a big
patience
time
catching
move.
that in the post.
Big time move by Turnage, something that she has to do when she has those one-on-one matchups in the paint. It makes the right decision and finishes at the rim.
Tech led by 4 at halftime. It's up to 7. Foul off the ball on Samuel. Only the third of the quarter against Georgia Tech. One more look at the nice spin by Turnage.
It was, and she saw that she had the mismatch, splits 2 defenders, and is able to finish on the right side of the basket. Nice lay-in by Turnage.
Now defending on Tall. They'll clear out that side for Tall. Got smothered by Termes. She recovers, shot clock at 10.
Better get it high if you're going against 6'6".
Here's a corner 3, Edie, no. Turnage the rebound. 15 seconds to go. Georgia Tech not trying to hold for the final seconds. And now they'll finally slow things down. Alben crowded by Chia. Behind the back, the pull-up, Alben, straight but strong. Rebound Tall, that takes it to the end of quarter 3. Georgia Tech stifled the turnovers got their scoring going, and as a result,
For Kat Alben with the 10 points and getting involved defensively as well for this Georgia Tech team.
Fowler 14 points on Thursday. To take a look at our game summary, both teams have made the same number of field goals, but Princeton has attempted 20 more shots. Tigers only 31% from the field. Circulated around to Turnage. Turns her back on Tall. Got it stripped on the spin. Quick hands by Hutcherson.
Yeah, you got to be aware when you're making that move in the paint. Great court awareness by Hutcherson to get that steal.
Hutcherson's done a little bit of everything for Carter Berube and the Tigers tonight. Dapper still searching for her first bucket. She's 0 of 7 from the field. Turns the matchup on her. Roped across. Tall taking it in deep. The reverse doesn't get the bounce, but she does get the foul.
But that's a good decision by Tall, realizing that she had Termis outside of the paint, decides to take it baseline. And just a heads-up play, gets past Termis, gets past Walker, and draws the foul. Just can't finish at the rim.
She's got really quick feet. Junior from Silver Spring, Maryland, second team All-Ivy a season ago.
Well, we know it's a lot of hoopers that come out of the DMV, and Tall's showing that this afternoon. She is very smart, cerebral on the court, but as a post player, understands her matchups and when to take advantage, when to pass it. We've seen some impressive moves by her this afternoon on the offense and defensive end.
5 points, team high 9 rebounds. Sinks the second. Makes Princeton 7 of 8 at the free throw line, and now trying to pick up the Jackets in full court. Anything to disrupt the flow of the Georgia Tech offense. Use the free throw line to their advantage to push that lead out in the third quarter.
Yeah, they want to slow Georgia Tech down, force them to take a shot late in the shot clock.
Turnage posting. Shot clock at 5. Underneath to Termis with the left hand. Doesn't get the roll.
And that was a good play. Good pass by Turnage. Termis just can't finish at the rim.
All right, Belker can get a bucket in the fourth quarter.
Right.
That will energize this Princeton team.
0 for
Chaperoned by
7.
Walker, yeah. Walker not giving her much airspace. Runs into his screen, now draws Samuel on the switch. Shovels away Chia. Looking for an entry, there's Tall. Tall with a turn, spins off. Tall able to corral it. Fresh possession for the Tigers. Snapped around to Chia. She puts her palm down and slows things down.
That might be the biggest offensive rebound Princeton's had all afternoon.
Chia gets to her spot, can't bank that in. Up for grabs, reeled in by Walker.
That was a good job by Walker because it looked like Hutcherson could have been called for the over the back. But Walker stays with it and is able to corral the rebound.
So much of rebounding, as you know, is about your willingness. Not every 6-footer can be a great rebounder. Clutch one there for Walker, who handles on Belker. Termis throws to Alben. Has to create, blows by Chia and lays it in.
I mean, at her height and size, to be able to do that and to make that move to split 2 defenders and still get the lay-in, that's impressive. It shows the bounce that Kat Alben also has that can go along with that speed and quickness.
And her speed is somewhere between blazing and blinding. She's got 12 points, a 3-pointer with a hand in her face by Tall.
We talked about it. That's a big-time bucket for Tall. Like, when they've needed a shot or a defensive play, it seems like she's met the call.
She was a 32% three-point shooter last year. Cuts the margin to 5. 3 minutes into our fourth quarter. Walker surveys. Has a screen from Turnage. Trying to chisel her way in. Got it stripped away, though, by Hutcherson.
And that's a good matchup. Hutcherson and Walker, very similar players in body stature.
Tall wants another 3. Gets another 3. It's a 2-point game. Fadima Tall. Back-to-back knockdowns from downtown.
I love it. And Tall, we said, second team All-Ivy performer a season ago. She can put up numbers with the best of them.
Samuel down the baseline. Leans in and lays it in.
We hadn't seen much from her, but that was a big-time shot by Samuel on the baseline. Knocks it off the glass, and it seems right now these teams are just exchanging buckets.
Now we're drawing the line in the sand. That was Savannah Samuel's first made field goal. Tall once again, Turnage the matchup on her. The rip through. Got hammered by Turnage in a foul. Fadima tall, standing tall for the Tigers, trying to bring them back from this 4-point deficit.
And she just does a great job of using her body to shield her defender from being able to get that block shot. And you see Turnage was trying to get the block, but when you go up and come down, you're not going to get that call. But this is a big-time 3-point shot at the top of the key by Tall. And this is an even bigger shot, probably the biggest we've seen all afternoon long on that baseline in the finish.
Yeah, that's not an easy shot,
no,
as you know,
by Samuel.
from Samuel. Tall working on a double-double. Bounces that free throw in to give her 13 points, 11 rebounds. Career high in boards was 13, did that versus Middle Tennessee back on December 29th of last year. 1 of 2 trip. 3-point game, 6 minutes to go. In this 5th all-time meeting between Tech and Princeton, Georgia Tech undefeated all-time against the Tigers. Angle pass was tipped away by Chia. She thought it caught a ricochet off of Alben.
Almost had Alben doing a split over there. Both of those players lightning quick. Chia getting her hand in the passing lane and getting deflection. Fortunately for Georgia Tech, they maintain the possession.
And remember now, coaches can challenge those out-of-bounds calls. Carla Berube went to the iPad, got a quick glance that's not worth using a potential timeout.
These iPads now, that's something new. Watching real time.
The one dribble pull-up, no good. Rebounded by St. Rose. Belker through the lane with the left hand. Belker has her first points of the game, and the lead's down to 1. Sky Belker, second team all-conference a year ago. Her offense had been stuck in neutral all afternoon. Noguero running pick and roll with Termes. High wires that baseline, keeps the dribble active. The fadeaway, banks it in. That was a clutch shot.
That was big time by the senior. I mean, takes her time and hits the jump shot off the glass in the middle of the lane.
Noguero has 13. Her season high last year was 13. Jackets up by 3. Chia dips behind the screen. Draws Turnage on the switch. Tries for a no look and got bailed out because that was a kick by Termes.
And you see her put her hands over her chest like, thank goodness. Woo.
Thank goodness. The rule book gives her a reprieve. Princeton to retain. It was a
time you have 4 of your starters scoring in double figures. That's balanced scoring. And I think this afternoon, the Tigers have been able to capitalize, especially on Georgia Tech's 22 turnovers. 20 points off of those turnovers.
Georgia Tech might still be able to survive. Chia can't turn the corner on Noguero. Takes the refeed. Rises up. No good from 3. Reeled in by Hutcherson. Banks it again.
And they've been active on these offensive boards this afternoon. And when you look at the numbers, they have 14 offensive rebounds out of their total 29 rebounds for the game.
And a travel on Samuel. A 23rd turnover. Karen Blair thought there was a case for a foul. And the Tigers have a chance, Fallon, to take their first lead since it was 28-26 in the second quarter. Chia guarded by Samuel. Lays it off for Hutcherson. Given some space by Turnage. Tall with those back-to-back threes to kind of ignite this Princeton comeback. Belker behind the screen. A +1 to Tall for another triple. That one heavy. Races in, grabs the miss though. Dumps down to Hutcherson, and the Tigers take the lead.
And you see this crowd erupting for Princeton after that shot. Great pass by Tall to recognize and see Hutcherson underneath the basket.
Tigers +8 in the fourth quarter. Hutcherson continues her career night, 15 points. Turnage in traffic, the one-legged fadeaway is short. Tried to force that, boarded by Tall. Continuing her double-double day.
Right now, Georgia Tech's just getting killed on the offensive rebounds, giving Princeton second chance opportunities, and Princeton has been capitalizing in this fourth quarter.
Now, this is where all that returning experience for starters for the Tigers will pay off. The scoop layup too heavy, and Thomas Harris swoops in for the rebound, lost her balance though, laid in by Tall and one.
And that's a tough play by Thomas Harris, thinking she had that rebound, but couldn't stay up on her feet. And Princeton, especially Tall, standing tall and staying with the play, and is able to get that ball out of Thomas Harris' hands and get the and one.
And an eruption from the Princeton bench. Fadima Tall, 15 points, 13 rebounds. tie career high. Tigers entered this fourth quarter down by 7. They're waxing the windows on the offensive end. And now all of a sudden, Tigers have their largest lead.
Yeah, it's a 4-point lead, and you see the pressure building. Princeton coming with this full court pressure.
It's a brand new Georgia Tech lineup, and like we said, in a tight game, final 3 minutes, Alben strokes the 3, banks it in. Whether by intent or not, Alben will take the result.
And Coach Berube just looks. I mean, she's like, that's a gamer right there. I mean, you got to knock down big shots when you have the opportunity. Even if you don't call glass, still counts. It's a bucket.
Inside of 3 minutes to go, Princeton has the experience edge. Belker slicing, scooping, scoring.
And that can't happen. It's the lack of rotation on that play.
Alben almost dribbled right into Hutcherson for a turnover. Georgia Tech has to break the 10 count. Is just thrown ahead to Termes. 3-point lead, Alben. Walker now pulls it back to a flashing Turnage. Turnage trying to muscle her way in. Tough fadeaway, misses. Termes rebound. Back underneath to Turnage. Turnage and one.
And that's Georgia Tech giving Princeton some of their own medicine. Staying active on the offensive boards. And Termes right there to collect after that Turnage miss. Finds her again. And great positioning by Turnage. Hutcherson too late and gets called for that foul. But a great read, great catch by Turnage. Snoop with the bucket.
Yeah, saw the hit. But the finish by Turnage, just 1 of 4 at the free throw line. To tie the game, no good. And the rebound snatched once again by Tall.
I'm saying Tall has had a game. Man.
It's a career high 14th rebound.
It's a major double-double right there.
Loads up the screen for St. Rose. Backdoor, Belker can't handle.
St. Rose was hoping to get that assist. It was a nice pass. Just couldn't be controlled by Belker. And you got Georgia Tech trying to get another opportunity to see if they can regain the lead.
Turnovers haven't been nearly as problematic for Princeton as they have for Georgia Tech today. Turnage, maroon just past the timeline, gets it free to Samuel. Inside of 2 minutes, Tigers by 1. Jackets have won 13 straight at home in non-conference play. Noguero surveying. Shovels to Termes, shot clock at 6. Noguero puts it on the floor. Running one-hander, no. Turnage trying to keep the tap alive, but it's knocked down to Princeton. Into the hands of the savvy Ashley Chia, unanimous first-team All-Ivy a season ago. Off to St. Rose. Can she deliver a clutch basket in her return? She'll stroke the 3 and connect. Cold-blooded by St. Rose. 4-point Princeton lead. Coming up on a minute to go.
Wow. Way to step up. That's a big-time shot. St. Rose been critical in this game, still trying to find her groove, but gets that groove back with that 3-point shot.
And timeout called by Georgia Tech. Madison St. Rose. Second.
The wire, and Princeton has brought it, especially with their 3-point shooting, knocking down some key shots in the fourth.
Tapping into that experience down the stretch, and you can tell a team that has not gotten rattled. Noguero almost lost the handle, and it's pried away. Will we have a tie-up? We will have a jump ball, but the arrow gives it to Princeton.
And that was good hustle right there. Noguero trying to make a move, and Princeton, they've had hands on the ball all afternoon, and they get another tie-up. And, you know, it's tough splitting 2 defenders like that, especially with the hands that these Princeton players have on defense. And Princeton able to get the basketball on the jump ball.
And St. Rose is right in the thick of it. Madison St. Rose had missed her first 3 threes before high 14 rebounds. Princeton does advance into the forecourt from the timeout. Belker to trigger. Bounces into Tall. Tall gets the blow by. And now the reach and foul on Walker. 4th of the quarter against the Jackets.
Right now, the Jackets, they really have to anticipate these passing lanes. See if they can get a steal on the inbounds.
Throw it into Noguero. Hands back off to Belker as Turnage tries to blow up that screen. Foul called instead on Alben. And Princeton goes to the line off Tech's 5th foul of the quarter. It'll be Belker to shoot 82% a year ago. Her dad, Harold, originally from Germany, came to the U.S. on a tennis scholarship to Georgia Southern. It has been a maybe forgettable season opener for Belker. That was the third foul on Alben, but some free throws to potentially put this out of reach from the junior from Los Angeles. Second team All-Ivy a year ago. Free throw good. Makes the Tigers 10 of 12 at the stripe today. Spills off, rebound Turnage, timeout Karen Blair, and she will want to advance. So a 5-point game, 36.9 seconds to go. Man, and if you perform the inquest on this one, if Georgia Tech is not able to make up this 5-point deficit, it was the offensive rebounding they allowed, it was the turnovers they committed.
Sure.
And will combine potentially to split their first 2 games of the year.
Yeah, and when you look at the turnovers, it was just so critical, especially in that first half. You know, they've had a couple of costly turnovers in this fourth quarter, but when you look at the 26 points that the Tigers have been able to get off of those 25 turnovers that Georgia Tech committed, I think that's the difference in this game. And like you said, the offensive rebounding, they've been attacking all game long, trying to give them themselves second chance opportunities, and it's worked tremendously in this second half.
Georgia Tech has played this second half without their starting point guard, Erica Moon, who landed awkwardly on her left leg. Let's take a look at Georgia Tech's upcoming schedule. Back home Thursday to face Catherine Alben's former school in Charleston Southern. You can catch that game on ACC Network Extra. And now their focus on these final 36 9/10. Turnage feeds Termes. She's harassed, throws it away. It was the on-ball pressure by Tall, though, that forced the turnover, one that Coach Blair could ill afford to see.
Yeah, and that's a costly turnover. We said it. It's been the story all game long, and without Moon in this game, who has the experience as a true point guard, it's been difficult for Georgia Tech to get into their offensive sets.
Because of the reach of Tall, forced that pass from Termes to be out wider than where Samuel was setting up. See a very solemn expression on the redshirt sophomore Erica Moon, and boy, there's no more helpless feeling than not being able to contribute and try to get your team back from the brink after she had really shown a sharp first game and a half as the Yellow Jacket. Ball to Princeton. Both teams in the bonus. Arrow favors the Jackets, but Princeton up by 5 after they entered this final quarter down by 7.
Yeah, and this has just been the resiliency of Princeton. All game long, you know, they were down most of this game, but just stayed with it in rhythm, trying to find their flow with this being their opener for the season. And, you know, riding on the back of Tall, I think, for a lot of this game, where she was making heads-up plays, getting rebounds, knocking down buckets. I mean, she has a double-double with 16 and 14 in this one.
Tigers are in the bonus. Bowser still looking, bounces too Tall. And away to St. Rose, getting chased by Noguero. Well, you got to foul, you got to commit to it. St. Rose almost had it chopped away by Noguero. Looks like Georgia Tech going for the trap and the turnover, but the foul instead on Alben. 19.4 seconds left. I get the desire to try to get a turnover first, but if that doesn't materialize in the first few seconds, you don't have the time. You got to really just throw yourself under the chariot and take the foul.
Yeah, and you see Coach Blair turning and looking. She wished her team would have committed a foul a lot sooner in that situation.
That took 14 seconds off the clock. Ashley Chia up 11 points. There's a 75% foul shooter a season ago. And 15 points against Iowa State in their NCAA tournament game. Friendly bounce, and the Tigers up 6.
Probably the biggest smile I've seen on Chia's face all afternoon long. And like I said, she's just a steady point guard for this squad. You know, consistent, can knock down the free throws, and can hit some big threes when she needs to. But, you know, she's had her hands full with some speedy guards for Georgia Tech all afternoon. Moon before she was out of the game, but having to go against Alben as well.
Turnage rips down the miss. Georgia Tech calls its final timeout. 18.4 seconds left. You know, in the
Georgia Tech can make something happen. They're gonna have to get a quick shot up with this limited amount of time that's left in this game, down by 6. Maybe they can get something in their offensive sets, a good look behind the arc.
Can't be choosy. Termes also a capable three-point shooter. Turner is really the one that, only if you absolutely need to, will she shoot it. Has to inbound first, finds Alben. Right into a double team. She's tied up by St. Rose. Arrow does keep it with Tech.
Good heads-up recognition by St. Rose to read that all the way, get the tie-up, force Georgia Tech to take it back out of bounds as they get the jump ball.
Now, and why have the Tigers flip this from a 7-point deficit entering the fourth quarter to a 16-point lead? They have forced 10 fourth quarter Georgia Tech turnovers. Termes, hands off Alben. Gotta hurry. The pull-up three, no good. Chia tears down the rebound. Georgia Tech will not foul. And Princeton shows its poise down the stretch. They will open their season. The preseason Ivy League favorites knock off Georgia Tech 67-61.
Well, that's what it's about. You know, we talked